All right, so today we're going to be talking about a history of 4 major philosophies. But before we get into that, can someone give me a definition of what they think philosophy is? One person.
The way that we think about the world.
Okay, that's a good definition. Anyone else? Just your definition of philosophy. Doesn't have to be Merriam-Webster. That was a good example. Anyone have a good definition? Yes.
Guidelines,
Guidelines to
of how you live your life.
right. That's a great definition. Okay, so Oxford Dictionary defines it as the study of the fundamental nature of knowledge, reality, and existence, especially when considered as an academic discipline. So the word philosophy actually comes from the 2 Greek words, one philos, which means love, and sophia, which means wisdom. Philosophy in itself means the love of wisdom. So this word and this idea of philosophy dates back to ancient Greece. Thales of Miletus was actually considered the first philosopher. And surprisingly enough, philosophy doesn't have to be true. As you can see, because Thales of Miletus believed that water was the fundamental source of all things, which is not exactly true. So, your philosophy can be various different things. It doesn't have to be correct. It is what you believe. So, this word up here, can someone try pronouncing this word? Just give a crack at it. Someone try pronouncing this.
Weltanschauung.
Very close. Very close. Weltanschauung. Weltanschauung is a German word for worldview. That's so interesting, right? Why am I talking about worldview? Well, why am I talking about worldview? Do you know? Can you give me maybe a hint? Oh, it has to do with philosophy. That's so right. Okay. So your worldview is going to influence your philosophy, your way of thinking. Does that make sense? Let's say that you believe that there is no God. There's no God, nothing happens after you die. Your way of living, your philosophy, is going to look so much different than the person who believes, well, I believe that there's 14 gods, and they all, have something to do with how we live, and they give us these rules and things like that. These 2 people are going to have completely different worldviews, and so therefore going to have completely different philosophies. So your Weltanschauung, your worldview, is very important to how your philosophy is. So we're going to talk about 4 important philosophies. You guys have heard of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. We're going to talk about none of them. We're not talking about any of them today. We're talking about 4 worldviews that we see today in Western culture. So, the first one is existentialism. Existentialism is the belief that life has no inherent meaning, so individuals must create their own purpose through choices and actions. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just terrific? It was shaped by multiple different thinkers, and the father of existentialism is known as Soren Kierkegaard, who is actually a believer. He believed that there was no real meaning, but the whole point of faith is that you're creating a purpose through this leap of faith. You're creating purpose in life through your belief in God, which is really interesting because the rest of the existentialist philosophers were staunch atheists, did not believe in God. You guys might have heard of Friedrich Nietzsche and Jean-Paul Sartre and Albert Camus. These 3 people, very influential in existentialism, did not believe in God. And so I put their worldview as naturalistic. They believe that what exists is what exists, right? Nature is ultimate reality. There is no God. And so therefore, there's no meaning. There's no meaning, and because there's no meaning, you make it up. Make up your own meaning. You want to be a professional singer and dancer, and you believe that your happiness will come through singing and dancing? Go for it. Okay? It sounds nice, but the issue is when you have no inherent meaning, what's the point of living? This picture is Polish jester Stan Zik. So he was known for his political wit and humor. And in this picture, it's hard to see. There's more to the picture, but I couldn't fit it all on the page. But he is actually reacting to hearing some news about his country, Poland's decline. And in the background, there are a bunch of people of power who are dancing and singing and oblivious to the reality of what's going on. This is the way a lot of existentialist people think. They're like, oh man, there is no meaning. Everyone's pretending to be happy, and they have a lot of depression, a lot of doubt. If you ever heard of the term of existential doubt or existential crisis, it's because you believe there is no inherent meaning. That's an example of existential crisis. The second philosophy is Epicureanism. Epicureanism is the belief that happiness comes from avoiding pain. Sounds nice. I don't like pain necessarily. I'm assuming everyone else in here isn't fond of pain. And this was created by Epicurus, hence the name Epicureanism. And he believed that the meaning of life was happiness. And this could be obtained through the avoidance of pain. More likely, he was into seeking pleasure through avoiding pain. He believed that pleasure was the absence of pain. And the way to obtain pleasure is by a state of living modestly, cultivating friendships, and seeking wisdom. And by doing so, you can have this sort of inner peace and be happy. Now, their worldview is still naturalistic, materialistic. They believe that you can become happy, you can be happy because of your friendships, because of these things in the world, because that is the highest good, is pleasure and avoiding pain. So you can see how their worldview, while it's still naturalistic, they come to a different conclusion than the existentialist people who believe that there is no meaning. They say that there is meaning and it's pleasure. What makes you feel good is what is good. But if what makes you feel good also makes you feel bad, it's bad. They're just all about avoiding pain. They want to avoid pain at all costs. They say that pleasure is the highest good, avoiding pain is how we experience pleasure. This is a picture of the Epicurean sources of happiness. You can see that they're living a temperate life. They're not out drinking and driving, and they're eating pie. They're abstaining from they're not eating pie. They're eating something healthy, but they're abstaining from their desire to eat pie. They're living virtuous lives. They're in friendship. They're talking about wisdom. That is the Epicurean idea of happiness. Now, in complete contrast is hedonism, which is our third philosophy. And that is the belief that pleasure or happiness is the highest good and the ultimate aim in life. What makes you feel good is what is good, no matter if it makes you feel bad. I don't care that I'm going to have a hangover tomorrow. I'm going to drink a copious amount of alcohol tonight and feel good for the night. They find immediate gratification to be the number one thing that they're searching for in life. This was created by Aristippus of Cyrene. And it dates back to ancient Greece, right? If you guys know, this is the Greek god Bacchus, or I guess Greek is Dionysus. He was known for, he was always drinking wine, he was always partying. He was the god of parties. They're big into party culture and hedonism, right? And their worldview is the same as Epicureanism, but they say that because the greatest good is pleasure, you should seek the highest amount of pleasure and ignore the pain, right? You may deal with the pain, but as long as you're getting a high amount of pleasure, you're good. So they seek pleasure through immediate gratification, and that's what brings them to happiness. And then our fourth philosophy is different from the rest of these. It's Stoicism. So Stoicism is the belief that happiness comes from virtue. It was originally created by Zeno of Citium, but then made popular by people like Marcus Aurelius and the like. It's becoming a lot more popular in young men in Western culture. When I had TikTok, I would see a whole bunch of stuff saying, oh, you need to be a stoic thinker, and it's a man's job to be stoic and control your emotions and be a man. Interesting, but their worldview is rationalistic. They believe that reason is what guides and completes life. They say that the universe operates according to reason. That they believe that using reason, one can understand the world through logic and virtue. Now, how does it make sense? How does being virtuous make you happy? Well, they believe that virtue is the highest good. And these virtues are cultivating wisdom, self-control, and emotional resilience. So it's not that Stoicism is about avoiding pain or seeking pleasure. It's about remaining indifferent altogether. Right? You may feel this amount of pain, but happiness comes from when you feel the pain, you deal with it, and you don't let it affect you. Right? They're all about not letting things affect you. This school of thought arises from focusing on what is within their control and accepting with peace and understanding the things that are out of their control. Their happiness looks sort of like an inner peace or an inner calm, knowing that no one can take away that inner peace. None of the outside external circumstances can dictate how they're feeling. They have control over that. A picture is this is, news gets out that the Stoics' annual party has been canceled. Oh, never mind. Well, can't be helped, mustn't grumble. Right? That just shows that almost like removed aspect of Stoicism. All right, so now we have a game time. I'm going to sort us up into 4 different groups. Can I get, okay, we were missing some people. But you 3, you ladies, this group, and then you 4. So we got group 1, 2, 3, and 4. We good? We good? All right. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask a question, and then we're going to spin to get the groups, and then whoever it lands on, you're going to have one person answer. Okay, if you get it wrong, we're going to spin again. Sound good? All right. So, group 3. Group 3. What philosophy says that life has no inherent meaning, and therefore individuals must create their own purpose through their actions and choices?
Yeah. Existentialism.
Existentialism. Great. Great job. Group 3. All right, group 2. Which philosophy says that pleasure is the highest good, but avoiding pain is how we obtain pleasure? Epicureanism. Great, good job. That is 1 point for group 2. It's not up to me. It's not up to me. The wheel decides. I don't decide. I wish I could pick you. I wish I could. It's my philosophy. Work. Oh, group 3. Okay. Group 3. Which philosophy says that pleasure is the... Oh, wait. Hold on. Wrong question. Which philosophy says that virtue is the highest good?
Stoicism?
Yes! All right, great job. Group 3 again.
We can't win one John doesn't win, bro.
I'm not picking. It's the wheel. Can't argue with me. You gotta argue with the wheel, man. Okay, group 3. All right.
No, Jonathan got it.
Okay. Which philosophy is most likely to make a bad decision if it will cause instant gratification? Hedonism, great job. Okay, since this is not a democracy, you guys are no longer allowed to answer. And you'll be taken off the wheel. Sorry, I don't make the rules. I do make the rules, and I chose that. My fault.
We're just not gonna get it.
Oh, group 4. No way. It's your time to shine. Don't mess it up. All right. Now, I'm going to give you an example of how somebody lives. And if you can guess the philosophy, you get a point. Alex has been invited to an all-you-can-eat buffet. He piled his plate high with every type of food from pizza to sushi. And he wasn't worried about the eventual stomachache. Ah, great job. Getting on the board at 4. Oh, that's tragic. That's tragic. All right, group 2. Group 2. Alex is stuck in traffic on a way to an important meeting. But instead of honking and getting frustrated, he calmly adjusts his seat, takes a breath, and says, "No sense in stressing. It is what it is." Correct. Great job. Oh my goodness. It's like we just talked about these things. This is crazy.
Keep me engaged.
All right, to tie, you could possibly tie group 3. This last question. Last question is worth 3 points.
Well, this is huge.
But I'm gonna put
Yeah, I was like,
group 3 back. Group 3, you're just the green group right now. Sorry.
I think we should jump with this one
Court
for
three.
y'all.
I like that idea.
I swear if you don't crash out.
All right. 3 points. Triple point question.
that I think your video though. This is awesome.
All right, group 3. Are we focused? Alex stared at the mess of his apartment, at the unwashed dishes, and the half-finished project, just like mine was a few days ago, on his desk. He sighs deeply and says, "Why bother cleaning? Doesn't even matter if I do it." What school of thought? What philosophy is this? It's tricky. Don't let it fool you.
If they get it wrong, can steal
Yes, I'll
it.
allow you to
Spin
do it.
the wheel to decide.
No, like I said, this is not a democracy. I make the rules. You're in my classroom. I apologize. I don't make the rules. That's just how it works.
Give me shot clock.
All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Go.
Existentialism.
Yes! Oh my goodness! What a great job.
It's always Jonathan, man.
I stopped. Group 1, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not the wheel. Any complaints got to go on the wheel.
You didn't pick the game.
I didn't pick the game. I'm sorry. All right. So, is everyone familiar with the 4 schools of thought we just talked about, the 4 philosophies?
I think group.
Great. All right. So, what we just did with the writing, the little stories, I want you guys to help me out, because I don't understand these, and I want you to write your own stories. Little short things that display one of the 4 philosophies. Does that make sense? We good? All right. This cost me $5. Well, then you get it done right.
Oh, me and Alex in that buffet.
Does I like rules?
So what if it's we're all wrong? So what if I'm doing? Wait, yeah, where is it? Oh, well, it's just there.
Does everyone understand the parameters of this assignment? Awesome.